Welcome to episode 19 of Echoes from the Arena. This episode is entitled Hot Stove and Other Things. We're going to talk some baseball. We're going to talk about, we're going to do another D3 highlighted school. And then we'll probably get around to discussing a little bit of Bills Chiefs that happened last week. But we want to start with some baseball. Dad, I'm wearing a Jays hat. You're wearing a Buffalo Bison's hat, which is the AAA affiliate of the Toronto Blue Jays. I didn't watch one pitch of the World Series.
Well, I didn't watch the whole series. In
I
many,
heard I missed out, and I kind of regret not watching it, but I didn't.
yeah, the games I watched the opening game. I watched one of the games in the middle there, and then I did watch the last two games. The last game we watched, Robin and I watched the entire game. It was a great game. We really thought the Jays were going to do it. They were up by, they led by 2 runs late.
Mm.
But when you get into the Fall Classic, and as you know, pitchers got to put pitchers where they have to put them. If you put them somewhere else,
They end
good
up in the
hitters
stands.
will make you pay. And
Mm.
three hitters hit solo home runs to give the Dodgers another championship. So, uh,
Mm.
like you say, being from Buffalo and being close to Toronto, we were kind of pulling for the Jays. I was certainly pulling for the Jays. A lot of those players that were on the team this year had played in Buffalo
Mm.
at some time,
And
in
and
some
they
cases a big
played,
game.
and then they
But
played here for a little while during
yeah,
COVID.
that's right. During COVID, that's
Mm.
right. Yes, we forgot that. We have a lot of perks of a major league ballpark. So we're fortunate.
Well, they had to put up an entire tent for the
That's right.
like home and away
Well, still
dressing
the
rooms or
clubhouses, right?
something, clubhouses. Yeah,
And they needed new lights.
yeah.
They had to put in higher light standards and what have you. So
Hmm.
a lot of cosmetics. But
So
anyway, should we get into chatting about the hot stove? And if you got any
yeah,
questions, Matt, you can just
sure.
stop me and
Hmm.
just going to give a brief overview. It hot stove kind of fits into I guess, the romance and the tradition of baseball. The hot stove concept comes from the late 19th century, early 20th century, uh, where you got to remember now, most, if not all, the major league teams, not most, but all the major league teams were up in the northeast of the US or the upper Midwest or Midwest.
Hmm.
So many of these areas obviously had winters and cold winters. So a hot stove league was simply a group of fans sitting around a hot stove, staying warm after the season has ended and winter was upon them, and they were talking baseball. They were doing pretty much what we do now, talking sports. And in the late 19th century, baseball was just beginning to take a hold. It was not the most popular sport at the time. I believe the most popular sport at the time was horse racing, but it was beginning to grow, and they wanted to talk baseball. So, but this happened in saloons and in barbershops and in general stores. So, put some wood on the fire. Let's sit down and let's talk about next season.
What are they talking about? Major League Baseball or just
Well, I think it was pretty much the whole gambit of baseball, but it really grew
because
up
there was
around
like regional
major league.
teams.
Yes, there were multiple teams and multiple leagues, but for the most part, I think the hot stove genre was sprang up around cities that had major league teams.
Hmm.
So they were talking about off-season trades. They were talking about predictions for next season. Are we going to win a pennant? Are we any good?
It's the NFL Network just before the
Yeah,
NFL Network,
that's
which is
exactly.
let's talk about a league for the entire
Yes.
year and devote an entire channel to it.
And then as the again now as the time went by, we got into the 20th century. The 30s and between the 30s and 50s was kind of the heyday of radio. Uh, Radio was used to cover baseball. Some very talented play-by-play people, storytellers. So the game evolved that way, and then the off seasons were there was even more information. Now you had a radio, you had radio shows, you had information that was a little, you're getting more information. Certainly not like the way it is now, where you get instant information, but it was, fans were more educated. The chatter was more interesting and well-rounded, and there were numerous topics which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. And then, fast forward to the television generation of the late 40s, 50s, 60s. Um, many, even now, the Major League MLB network has a show, Hot Stove. So
Hmm.
they're using the term to talk about, the off-season meetings, the owners' meetings, free agency, and what have you. So it's a fun time.
I don't partake, but from what I understand.
Yeah, it's a fun time, and it kind of prepares you. Now living in Lakeland, Florida, the the business of spring training has just exploded.
Yeah, I would
Probably in the
imagine.
last, what, 15, 20 years,
Yeah.
where you got hats at the spring training logos. You got a whole,
You have an entire uniform of just his
yes,
spring
yes,
training
exactly,
uniform.
exactly. We've been to the ballpark here in Lakeland, and for grapefruit, they call it the grapefruit league here, and the cactus league out in Arizona. But
Uh-huh.
so all the teams are here in training in Florida. All play one another. So, but many people, I've talked to numerous people at games here in Lakeland where the Detroit Tigers train.
Hmm.
People coming down from Michigan and spending this is their vacation. They come down, they spend a couple of weeks, they take in some ball games, they get some sun, get out of the winter, and it's big business.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of fun. Problem with the spring training, I know we're getting off the topic, but problem with spring training now is you really don't see the stars. They really don't play much.
Yeah.
You might see like a Judge might play an inning or two, get one at bat, and then he's out. So don't see a lot of stars, but you do get to see the young prospects and guys that will be in the minors and what have you. So and then we'll eventually make it to the major league. So it's a fun time. But
How often have you been going?
the games.
Yeah.
We when we first came down in 22, no, it wouldn't have been 22. 22 we moved down in June. So 23, it started with 23 spring training. We went to quite a few games.
Mm.
And we went to, being that we're located in Central Florida, we went to obviously games here in Lakeland. Ballpark's only 20 minutes away. Or we go to Tampa, to Steinbrenner Field for the Yankees.
Mm.
That's about 40 minutes away. We've been down to Northport, which is near Venice, Florida, where the Atlanta Braves train. And I'm trying to think who else we saw. I think oh yeah, we went to Disney to see a game. Tampa was there for a bit because their spring training facility was damaged by a hurricane. So
Hmm.
they were at Disney one year, saw them play the Yankees. So but there's other teams around here. The Cards are around here, that the Pirates are over in Bradenton. I think the Orioles are in Sarasota. So it's a lot of fun. It's fun going to the games. Fun to hear the crack of the bat and what have you.
Yeah, I just don't have the love for it anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll come back around. Everything's cyclical.
You might. You might. I
Mm.
just think it's just being a history guy, it's just it kind of keeps a bygone era kind of alive. Uh, this is off point, but I think you and I had talked about it. But I was listening to Doris Kearns Goodwin. She was talking about
Why don't
baseball.
you explain who Doris Kearns Goodwin is for the
Doris
listeners?
Kearns Goodwin is one of our leading historians. She is a presidential historian. She's written numerous books on various presidents. She's written a book on leadership where she highlights uh, the President Lincoln, President Theodore Roosevelt, FDR, LBJ. She actually worked in the LBJ administration. She taught at Harvard, and now she's a very good writer. I would, you know, recommend her books. She writes like a novelist.
Mhm.
So I read pretty much all of her books. They're amazing and very well researched. But she did a book on baseball, and she was talking in the talk show she was on, and talking about her love of baseball and the fact that she grew up a Brooklyn Dodger fan. Got to meet some of the famous Dodgers, including Jackie Robinson, as a child, and then she ended up after she was married, she ends up in the Boston area. So she has become a huge Red Sox fan. But she made an interesting point that baseball is a perfect sport for people who love history because everything's recorded. Everything has been recorded.
Well, that's true.
I can go in the other room and pull out my baseball encyclopedia and look up a New York Yankee game in their great year, 1927, on a day and against a team. And I know exactly what happened in that game. I know who won the game. I know what innings the runs were scored in.
Who
I
got
know that they
hits?
hit a home run. I knew the starting pitchers. I knew who won the game. I knew who hit a double, who hit a triple. And this goes on and on and on. So it's
And
amazing.
if you want to go even more granular, there's
Yeah.
people that do the actual score, box score.
Hmm. You can keep
So,
score. Yeah.
yeah.
You can keep score games. Every so often I see someone that has a scorebook and they're keeping score. Well, a lot of the programs have scorecards in them.
Mm.
But I was amazed because Robin and I were at a Yankee game a number of years ago in New York.
Hmm.
We were up there over spring break, and we were sitting in right field. And in front of me was a young family, and the the boy who was probably maybe 8 or 9 years old, keeping score. And it was really good to see. It was
I
a
don't,
fun
I
thing.
couldn't do it right now.
Tried to teach Robin, but we got to spend more time at it because it's a whole different has its
It's like a whole different
own
language.
language. I know it's like hieroglyphics. Um, but anyway, uh, getting back to the hot stove league,
What is this mic doing?
huh?
The fuck is this mic doing?
What's it
It's
doing?
just going up on its own.
Got
I
a mind of its own.
think it needs to be oiled. It wants
The
to straighten itself out.
uh, some of baseball's really important events happen during the off season. Obviously, if
Mm.
it's a trade or something or a signing. Just to run through a few events, there's I guess probably one of the more famous events was happened in 1919 when the Red Sox traded Babe Ruth to the Yankees for money and a loan, and that obviously changed the direction of the Yankees and the
Yeah.
Red Sox.
And the Red Sox.
And the old curse of the Bambino was tossed around until 2004 when the Red Sox finally won
Bro.
another World Series.
Yeah.
And then in 19, I get my years here. 19, I got to refer to my notes because I forgot. I got so many numbers in my head. Um, yes, okay. So free agency revolution.
Mm.
There were two
Yes.
pitchers in the mid 70s. Andy Messerschmidt, who pitched for the Angels,
This
and
I
Dan
did not
McNally,
know.
who was the ace of the Orioles.
Mm.
They the reserve clause, which were in all contracts at the time, was dismantled, and these two pitchers were the first two pitchers who actually uh, used the benefits of free agency and got a good deal with their new teams. 1979, I remember this. So the Million Dollar Man, Nolan Ryan, signs with the
Mm.
Astros for $1 million a year. So that obviously changed the pay structure of Major League
Hmm.
Baseball. And the Midnight Massacre, which happened in 1977. The Mets had an ace pitcher by the name of Tom Seaver. And Tom was in a kind of a heated negotiation with the Mets. Nothing new for the Mets.
Mm.
And they ended up trading him to the Reds. And then in the year 2000, um, A-Rod signed a 10-year,
Really?
$252 million
All
deal.
right. 252 million.
But in 2004, he was shipped to the Yankees.
I remember that
That
being a big deal.
that was a big deal because there was always these innuendos about is there a feud going on between A-Rod and Jeter, blah blah blah. Because as we know, as when he played with the Rangers, he was a shortstop, and
Mm.
as he was with the Mariners. But with the Yankees, there's no way he was going to play shortstop because they had a shortstop, so he played third base.
Even though he was statistically a better shortstop than Jeter
Yeah, he was
was.
a shortstop. Yes. Um, and this is for probably another show, but he really never there was always friction between him and the fans. They never really bought into A-Rod. I don't think they
It's
did.
because he's not genuine.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
he seems like a Stepford wife.
yeah. He does. He
Like
does.
if I saw him, I would be afraid that some his faceplate would fall off and I'd see a bunch of gears and diodes.
Right. And then lots of scuttlebutt during the early 2000s because we had two teams. And
You're the only person that I know that still uses that word.
what's that? Scuttlebutt?
Yeah,
That's a World War II era term, I think. The
sounds right.
for the Boston Red Sox, the aforementioned World Series in 2004, and
Hmm.
the Cubs in 2016. Do you remember who the GM was?
Theo Epstein.
Yes, who was big with analytics
Hmm.
and built those teams using analytics. Um, Now, what year did Moneyball come out? Do you remember?
Before that.
Before that? Okay.
Mm.
Which was really the beginning of the analytics
Yep.
and the decisions being driven by analytics. But anyway, the
Yeah,
Steelers
because there
team,
was a remember this there was a thing about Scott Hatteberg in that movie.
what was that?
Scott Hatteberg was a first baseman, but I don't remember the particulars, but there was a disagreement between Billy Beane and the manager about who they should play. And he was using analytics, I believe, to back up his point, and the manager
Okay.
was using the eyeball test.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I want to say that Scott Hatteberg had a career year that year, um, even though I believe the manager was did not initially want to play him.
Right. Right.
I could be completely off on that. I'm just kind of going off of memory of seeing the
No, I
movie
think I do
quite
vaguely
some time
remember.
ago.
I do vaguely remember that from the film. Um,
Because
I
Scott
know
Hatteberg, I
Bane.
think, was played by Chris Pratt.
Oh, okay. The but yeah, Theo Epstein built both those teams. He built
Hmm.
both the Sox and the Cubbies, and some of the players that were signed during the off season, people like Kurt Schilling who went to the Sox, John Lester who went to the Sox, Chapman who went to the was traded by the Yankees to the Cubs, but then who came back to the Yankees after the Cubs won the series.
Hmm.
So a lot of interesting talk there because that probably has really changed the way that a baseball roster is now put together. Um, I think it's mainly analytics now. I don't know how much. I'm sure
They
managers
still have
still have gut
scouts.
instincts, but
They still have scouts.
yeah, no, there's still you still need scouts, but I just think the numbers really
When
support
you have the
decisions.
scouts and the numbers, then you make the best decisions, I would think.
And then in 2017, we got global with Ohtani coming to or to the Angels actually, and then
Hmm.
Dodgers in 2023. And he was the centerpiece this past few weeks with the series, and the
Hmm.
fact that he's got not only is he a great pitcher, he's also a great hitter, but you need him in the lineup. You need his bat in the lineup. So
Not
he
not like, and I'm sure anyone who's watches baseball is like, yeah, no shit. But for those that don't watch baseball, it's not like, yeah, no, he's a good batter for a pitcher.
right.
No, he's one of the premier
Yeah,
bats in the league.
exactly. Exactly. The only player in the history of the game you can compare him with is Babe Ruth, because Babe
Who
Ruth was
pitched and hit.
pitched. Um, he wasn't the mega hitter with the Sox as he became with the Yankees, and then the Yankees did not use him on the mound at all. He was
Hmm.
strictly they're in the three spot his whole career basically. Uh, so, but Otani's a quite a story and quite a ball player.
Yeah, I think I told you that I remember seeing a 60 Minutes thing on him a few years, maybe it was 2015 before he came over, that there was some Japanese sensation who was throwing in high 90s, but also hitting all these home runs.
Hmm.
And it was like, can't do that over here. Like, you might be able to do that over there, but I
Yeah,
don't think you can do it here. But he's doing it here too.
he is. No, he is. I was kind of a skeptic that he could do that in the major leagues here. And
He
I
makes
don't,
guys look silly here.
yeah, he's an ace and also, you know, your best hitters on the team,
Hmm.
maybe your best hitter. So he's fun to watch.
He is worth the price of admission, so I heard here.
Well, I think I was telling you we were shortly after the pandemic, we were in Southern California to go to Disneyland, and we took in a Angels game.
Mm.
It was a Sunday afternoon game against the Mariners, and Ohtani was a DH that day. So and he didn't have a great day, but that happens in baseball. But you just go through the ballpark, just the signage and the store in the ballpark. They were just maxing Ohtani. It was
Yeah.
just, it was just like marketing overload. But they had a good crowd. I mean, and they weren't having a great year that year, but they had a good crowd because of the fact that he's the player
People
you
want
want
to
to see.
see him.
So too bad for the Angels, but at least you also want a guy like that in the postseason
Hmm.
with the Dodgers.
Was this his
You
first World
pardon?
Series? Was this his first World Series? Or
No, he was in it last year too.
yeah.
So they won last year too. Yeah, they went back to back.
So yeah, the years all smushed together.
Yeah, they do. They do. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a little bit about the hot stove league. So we're getting into the hot stove league soon.
Literally
Yeah. So
based off of a hot stove
yes, that's where it comes from. Yeah.
because of the age of the game.
So we'll be talking about baseball soon and about the meetings will be coming up, the owners' meetings after the holiday, and then we'll be setting up for when do pitchers and catchers, you know, venture down to spring training.
Hmm.
That's a target date. If you're a baseball fan, you can look at that date. When do pitchers and catchers report? Then you know baseball's not far behind.
Well,
So
I
should
think
we?
that's something that's circled on your calendar, but not so much mine.
Yeah, and I'm already looking forward to spring training games. Yeah, it's just neat because you get more of a up close and personal because the ballparks are smaller.
Hmm.
You're on top of the action. The players, whether they want to or not, they do stay after and sign autographs. They talk with the fans. I'm sure they're persuaded by the the powers that be. Uh, and then we went to a couple of years ago. We went to a VIP day at the ballpark, the Braves stadium here.
Hmm.
They have a new stadium. It's a developing area around Venice, and the much like you saw the Braves stadium in Atlanta and the area around it called the Battery,
Hmm.
which the Braves own everything.
Yeah.
So they're also landlords and they're building and developing. Well, they're doing the same thing in Northport, Florida, too. They're developing all
Mm.
around the ballpark.
Right. Well,
And
that's smart.
but we had a VIP day where for a fee you go in, you, you get into batting practice, you
Hmm.
watch the you watch batting practice from right behind the batting cage. Then when the players usually are done or before they go out to batting practice, that they take pictures with the fans. They sign autographs. Um, uh, we got pictures with numerous Braves players. My wife even got a picture, her and Vlad, because they
Hmm.
were playing the Jays that day.
Oh yeah, I think I've
So,
seen that picture.
remember that? Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was a fun time. But you really see how quick they are with the bat and how good they are when you see it up close. Because as we all know, it's not easy to hit baseball.
No.
And I know they're hitting,
Wasn't. Yeah.
but they're hitting a batting practice pitcher. But
Still.
when you see it live during a game, it's not easy to do.
Shall we pivot to our
Yes,
D3
yes.
most
Let's go
valuable
to our
program?
ATP, or what do I call MVP? MVP, which is
Most valuable
most
program.
valuable program. And tonight we chose a small college up in Brunswick, Maine.
Hmm.
which has a long athletic and distinguished history. It is also one of the prestigious academic institution. It is called Bowdoin, the Bowdoin Polar Bears. That's the nickname of their athletic teams.
Mm-hmm.
Bowdoin, just some quick facts, was founded in 1794,
Mm-hmm.
although athletics did not appear until the middle part of the 19th century. First sport was baseball, which they started playing 2 years after the end of the Civil War. And then came track and field and rowing, which was a very popular sport in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And in the 1870s, football became
Mm.
their major sport.
I didn't know they had a football team.
Yeah, they did, and they still do. Yeah, they're not great. They did have one great season. They did have 1963. They did go undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
They uh, were the founding member of the Maine Intercollegiate Athletic Association, alongside two other schools, Bates and Colby. So together, those three schools form the what they call the CBB rivalry. And then, because of its location, they have a very prestigious hockey program, which started in the 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
They were one of the strongest, they are, and they still are one of the stronger small college teams. They play in a arena named after I don't know if he was an alum. Well, he probably was an alum. I'm sure he gave a lot of money to the university. That's why his name's in the
That's
building.
why his name's on the building.
But his name is Sidney J. Watson, the Sidney J. Watson Arena, which opened in 2009. There's a note here, and Matt, you're going to have to maybe fill me in on what this means. But
Mm-hmm.
it was the arena, okay, was the first collegiate hockey arena in the U.S. to achieve LEED certification for environmental sustainability. So I don't know what that
I
means. Does it
don't
mean that
know.
everything is solar powered or something? Or
It could be uses green energy to power.
oh, okay, could be green energy. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be solar. It could be wind. It could be geothermal. I don't know. Probably not geothermal. Um, just thinking of where they're at. Um, but in Iceland, geothermal power, I think, is the method of choice because there's
Okay.
so much um,
When you say
activity.
when you say geothermal, what are we talking about?
I think it's, um, well, I could look it up, but I'm not going to. Uh, I think just like a nuclear reactor works, I think the whole concept is just to get a turbine to spin.
Okay.
So, however you're creating steam that can spin a turbine,
hmm
you're
hmm
creating
Okay.
electricity that way.
Okay. Okay.
Because that's all that's technically if you boil a nuclear reactor, if you boil a nuclear power plant down, that's what it is. I'm
Right.
sorry,
Right.
the reactor
Okay.
itself is something different, but
Right. Right.
um yeah, so I think it's just using geothermal energy, energy in the ground, whether it be hot springs or whatnot, is ultimately turning a turbine somewhere,
hmm
which is creating and collecting electricity.
Sounds good. Um, the polar bears have also well they compete. The hockey team I know competes in this New England Small College Athletic Conference.
Hmm.
Before that, they were a member of the ECAC. Um, Now, in 1972, as we all know, Title IX was initiated,
Hmm.
and Bowdoin became one of the first small colleges in New England to fully integrate women's athletics. They do have a very dominant field hockey team. Matter of fact, they won NCAA championships in 2007, 2008, 2010, and 2015. Also, very good lacrosse programs, men and women. The men did get to the NCAA D3 championship game in 2022. So, like I said, their mascot's the polar bear, which was adopted in 1913, symbolizes endurance and strength. Bowdoin's athletic motto reflects the liberal art ethos of discipline, teamwork, and leadership through sport. And that is a little bit about Bowdoin.
Bowdoin
So
College.
next time you're in Brunswick, catch a Bowdoin event.
All right,
Uh,
I looked up how geothermal energy
Hockey team is
works.
usually very good. Okay, so what is it then?
Uh, in power plants, hot water or steam from underground reservoirs is used to spin turbines to drive generators to produce electricity. So
There you go.
I was generally correct.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's also used as to heat and cool. Um, I want to say like everybody has in Iceland. I don't even think they pay for heating. They don't pay
Hmm.
for water. They don't pay for heat.
Oh wow. Cost of living is nice and
Hmm. In Reykjavik.
reasonable.
Um, there was a bit of a dust up on Sunday
Yes, yes,
over
sir.
at One Bills Drive, if we wanted to discuss that for a moment. The Bills played the Chiefs this past Sunday and came out victorious 28-21. And honestly, I was a little surprised.
I was a little anxious going into the game. Yes, so was
I was
I.
quite anxious going into the game, but I had kind of made peace with it.
Yeah, yeah. But I think we saw some things which uh, were very positive in the fact that I thought I'm not going to say he came of age yet because he still has a lot of growing to do. But Cole Bishop had a real good game. He was in position. I thought his just watching him, his pursuit and what have you, his angles he was taking were really good. And
For somebody we've bitched about a lot, he had a
yeah,
really great game.
I know, but he had a great game. So
He had a nice hit on Kelsey at
great hit,
the
yeah.
end of the first half. And that's what you want to
And
see from a safety.
the other guy, I would think that the other player that I was, you know, he's had some good series, but I didn't think he had a great game. But he did on Sunday was Bosa. I thought Bosa was pretty much impossible to block. Used some great moves to get on the quarterback and really, got into Mahomes' face. So, and that's the way you beat. Well, it's a no-brainer. I mean, we saw it in the Super Bowl last year.
Mhm.
You're going to have to rough up Mahomes. That's how you beat him.
Get to
And
him.
that's what they did.
It's the most hits he's seen and his lowest completion percentage.
Yeah, it was under 50%, right?
44%, got hit
Yeah.
15 times.
But then I had a
There's,
conniption when our kicker hit the upright,
I know.
thinking, "Oh my goodness, here we go." Yeah, but yeah, no, but the Bills played well. The other one I wanted to mention was I like Hairston. His speed. We definitely saw his speed.
Hmm.
That one he had with where he was, stride for stride with Worthy, who had the best time at this year's combine. But I don't think Harrison's time was much off that.
Worthies would have been a year before.
Okay, okay, right. So
Harrison was 4.29.
wow, that's fast. That's
Worthies
world
might have
class
been
speed.
slightly faster, but you're talking about not much space. Yeah. It's very fast.
Not that it's related, but with 4.2, 4.29, you said, would 4.29 40 speed equate to a world-class sprinter
And now I think a
running 100 meters?
world-class sprinter is running faster than that.
Or are they? Jeez.
Yeah.
They have a whole different way of running.
Yeah, they do.
I remember um, there was a sprinter who was giving a speed camp
Hmm.
at a private school in Atlanta that I went to. And I forget the name. He's from Atlanta area. He's won medals in the Olympics. I cannot remember his name. If you mention him, I will say, yeah, yeah, that's him. I know he was suspended for a bit with some growth hormone or whatever issues. But I was watching him run and come out of the blocks,
Hmm.
and it's just a whole different. It's just like the only thing I could equate to that is when your sister and I went to Belmont, the racetrack in New York.
Hmm.
We went to a day of the races, and we were watching the thoroughbreds come off. We were right along the straight, the finishing straight, and the horses came across the last turn, and they just accelerated out of that turn, and it just and that's how sprinters. That's how he was. The sprinters are just like that. Or Usain Bolt. Just watch a video of Bolt, how they just explode. It
I
just, I
just
don't know.
looked it up, but the world-class sprinter is probably coming in somewhere in the 4-1 range.
Whew, that's fast, man.
I don't know how accurate that is, but I don't know that you get much faster. Well, and we know that some of these guys ha have been in the Olympics before,
Oh yeah,
or
yeah,
were in relays, like Goodwin for the Bills,
yeah. Exactly,
which I
exactly.
said we should have never gotten rid of, and I
We
think
never should have,
history proved me right on that one.
because he can catch. He's one of the sprinters
I
that
mean,
can
I don't even
catch.
think he's in the league anymore, but he
Oh,
definitely had some good seasons after when we were looking for a way to stretch the field and couldn't figure out why. Well, you had a guy who was an Olympic sprinter and could catch the football, and
yeah.
you got rid of him. So anyway, how about the offense?
I got noisy dogs here in the
Yeah,
front. Fortunately, we got a noise canceling microphone. They've been barking the whole time.
yeah, no one's
Offense,
not
offense.
picking up much.
I was very pleased with. They definitely utilized Cook. I think he had his most carries, right?
Yeah.
Vision.
Hmm.
So
And I said Kincaid is the deep threat, and that kind of turned out to be kind of right. I don't know that that's a great idea,
yeah,
but as long as he could stay on the field,
yeah.
um, he caused problems. Still would like them to address the wide receiver position, I guess, in the offseason now, considering
Yeah,
the
yeah,
trade
yeah.
deadline is come and gone.
I'm still a little
Although Joshua Palmer was limited in practice today. Not he did not he did practice.
he did practice okay. Because Cook did not and Bosa did not. But I'm thinking it's just maintenance because
I
Cook,
think maintenance day Bosa might be a vet day.
yeah, Cook was hurt early in the game and they just retaped the ankle and he was fine.
Yeah.
So I think he'll be okay. But no, yeah, I'm glad they're using Cook. I'm glad he's getting touches, which he needed to do. They actually, I know at least once they threw him the ball, which worked, got us the first down. So I think they need to do more of that.
And
But other than that, I was very, very, very pleased with the offense. And
Josh looked
Josh had total
much
control of
more
the
like Josh.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think it was a good team win, as McDermott likes to say, complimentary football.
Oh,
Um,
spare me.
so we'll get ready for Miami and hopefully do the job. And then Matt, I will be heading out to Great Britain on Sunday.
And I'll be at
Probably
the
catch
Bucks
the
game.
Miami at the airport. But when I come back, the next show we do, I'll talk a little bit about my experience in North London with the Bills Mafia.
Oh
We
yeah,
went
that'll be
to a Bills
interesting.
Mafia bar up near Tottenham. So,
hmm
or it's actually in Tot is Tottenham a section of London? Is that where the team gets its name from?
don't respect them enough to care.
Because I know I was looking at a map. It's right around the corner from the University of London. So
Hmm.
we're gonna go and catch a game and catch the Buccaneers game.
And I'll be at that
We
game.
reserved a spot for us, so I'm looking forward to it. Meeting some Bills fans from across the pond.
Yeah. All right. Well, shall we end it on that?
Yep, yep,
All right.
we're
So
good.
for Greg, I am Matt, and we're signing off on Echoes from the Arena.